I must tell you something that startled me when I first discovered it. Practically every man whom I studied, every leader who rose above the crowd, was inspired by the presence of a woman in his life. Did you ever wonder why the greatest achievements of men are so often linked to the influence of a woman? Sometimes this influence came through a loyal and self-denying wife who stood in the shadows, unknown to the world. Sometimes it came from another woman, less spoken of, but nevertheless a spark of inspiration. Now ask yourself, who has been the source of your greatest inspiration? But here is a truth most men dare not admit. When they misuse this mighty energy, when they dissipate their sexual power recklessly, they rob themselves of the genius that could have lifted them higher. Have you noticed how easy it is for men to lose control in this area of life? Think about it. Intemperance in eating destroys the body. Intemperance in drinking ruins the health. And intemperance in sex? It destroys imagination, reason, and willpower. Do you see how serious this is? We live in an age, especially since the Great World War, where sexual excess is common. Society laughs at it. But what has it cost us in leaders, in builders, in men of vision? Could it be that the shortage of great leaders is tied to the misuse of this very power? No man, no matter how talented, can access his full creative imagination while he is wasting this sacred energy. Tell me, are you in control of your desires, or are they in control of you? Look around the natural world. Every animal on this earth responds to its sexual nature only in season, in harmony with nature's law. But man declares an open season all year round. Do you see the difference? Every intelligent person knows the damage done by liquor or narcotics, but very few realize that sexual overindulgence is equally destructive. Could it be possible that the habits you thought harmless are quietly stealing your future? A sex madman is no different from a dope madman. Both are slaves. Both have lost control of reason and willpower. Can you imagine the tragedy of a mind once filled with promise, now consumed by obsession? Sexual excess does not only weaken the mind, it can lead to insanity, or at least to the illness of imagination, hypochondria, endless fears that exist only in one's mind. How many lives have been ruined by ignorance of this truth? Are you beginning to see the danger? Ignorance is always costly, and ignorance of sex transmutation exacts the highest penalty. Not only does it punish you, but it robs you of the extraordinary benefits that mastery could bring. So I ask you, are you ready to learn how to transmute? To transform this mighty force? But why is ignorance so widespread? Because for generations, society has cloaked this subject in mystery, in silence. Think about it. When something is forbidden, what happens? Desire grows, curiosity increases, and young minds, lacking guidance, stumble into habits that enslave them. Did prohibition of liquor stop drinking, or did it increase it? The same psychology applies here, and shamefully those most equipped to educate, the lawmakers, the physicians, have kept silent. Can you see how society has failed the youth? Let me tell you something hopeful. Great creative effort rarely comes before the age of 40. That should encourage those who feel late or fearful of growing old. Do you fear the passing of time, or do you see it as a gift? The truth is this: the years between 40 and 50 are often the most fruitful of life. That is when man begins to harmonize the forces of love and sex within him. That is when he learns, often unconsciously, the art of sex transmutation. Could your greatest achievement still be ahead of you? Look at the records of great men. Henry Ford had not hit his stride until past 40. Andrew Carnegie's great wealth came after 40. James J. Hill was still at the telegraph key at 40, long before his achievements made history. Does this not prove that your time may yet be coming? Around 35 to 40, nature begins its silent work. The emotions of love and sex are blended, giving man a new source of calmness, judgment, and balance. Have you noticed this shift in yourself as the years advance? Sex alone is powerful, but like a cyclone, it can be destructive and uncontrollable. But sex combined with love, that creates stability, purpose, and genius. Which path would you choose? Storm or harmony? History proves that a man driven by sex alone may achieve, but his actions are often reckless, destructive, even criminal. But mix love into that drive, and suddenly reason appears, balance takes hold, and achievement becomes constructive. Have you ever seen how love softens and directs passion? Criminologists have found that hardened criminals are reformed through the influence of love, not sex. Think of that. A woman's love has lifted men from the depths of crime, but mere indulgence never has. Do you see why love is the key ingredient? Reformation does not come from the head, but from the heart. It is not logic but love that creates real change. Isn't it true that when you genuinely desire to change, nothing can stop you? Love, romance, and sex are the eternal triangle of human genius. Alone, each has power. Together, they lift a man to the level of greatness. Can you imagine what your life would look like if you mastered this trinity? The emotions are like chemistry. Alone, each is harmless, but combined in the wrong way, they create poison. Jealousy mixed with sex creates insanity. Have you felt how destructive emotions poison judgment? But here is the good news. You can choose which emotions dominate your mind. You can encourage love, romance, and creativity. Or you can allow fear, jealousy, and excess to destroy you. Which will you choose today? The mind is a creature of habit, fed by dominating thoughts. With persistence and willpower, you can transform any negative emotion into a constructive one. Have you practiced the art of changing your thoughts? There is no other road to genius than through voluntary self-effort. No shortcut, no trick, no secret, only the daily discipline of transmutation. Are you willing to take this path? A man may gain wealth through the raw force of sex energy alone, but often he cannot hold it, nor enjoy it. Look closely at history. How many men have riches but no peace? Will you be one of them? Or will you master the balance of love, sex, and romance? Remember this. The marks of passion and love are written on the human face. The storm of raw passion hardens and distorts, but love mixed with sex softens, beautifies, and elevates. Which would you rather have reflected in your eyes? Love awakens the artistic, the spiritual, the noble within man. Even when the fire of passion burns out, the memory of love lingers, guiding and lifting. Have you ever felt the enduring power of true love long after it passed? Even memories of love can inspire. They soften pain, provide escape, and sometimes deliver ideas that transform a life. Will you take time to revisit your memories of love and let them inspire new creation? Do not grieve if you have loved and lost. One who has truly loved never loses entirely. Love may come and go, but each experience leaves a mark. Each prepares the heart for greater capacity. Will you allow love's departure to make you bitter or wiser? The greatest tragedies of life are not that men fail, but that they fail to see the forces which could have lifted them. Among those forces, the memory of love stands supreme. Have you ever noticed how the thought of a past love can soften your heart and awaken your imagination? Even when love seems lost, its memory lingers, a quiet source of power. It provides comfort during times of pain. It sparks creative ideas when the mind is weary. Do you realize how much genius has been born from the inspiration of remembered love? A man who has once truly loved is never again entirely lost. The mark of that experience remains, shaping his thoughts, guiding his emotions, lifting his ambitions. Can you see how every chapter of love in your life has prepared you for greater heights? And here lies a secret. No man ever achieves enduring greatness without the influence of a woman. Look at history. Behind every empire builder, behind every inventor, every statesman, you will find the subtle but undeniable influence of the feminine. Who has played that role in your life? Marriage, when harmonized, becomes the foundation of genius. It stabilizes passion, channels energy, and creates a partnership where the imagination can thrive. But marriage without harmony? It destroys, it weakens, it extinguishes the fire of ambition. Have you known such examples around you? Men boast of their independence, yet none are truly independent of woman's influence. The very fabric of civilization rests on this partnership. Do you see how foolish it is to deny or belittle this truth? Sex alone creates life, but sex with romance creates joy, and sex with love, blended with romance, creates genius. Which of these states are you cultivating? The memories of love are not mere nostalgia. They are living energies. They come unbidden, often at night, often when the mind is still, bringing with them flashes of imagination. Have you ever been struck by an idea that seemed to descend from the memory of a past romance? The poets, the artists, the musicians, they all confess to the same experience. Inspiration strikes when the heart recalls love. Why should you be different? Is it not possible that your greatest idea is waiting within your own heart? The greatest gift of love is that it refines and softens ambition. A man without love may become powerful, but he is often harsh, cold, destructive. With love, ambition is balanced. It serves humanity as well as self. Which would you prefer to be remembered for? Do not despise the pain of lost love. Out of that pain comes depth, compassion, and creativity. Some of the world's greatest masterpieces were born of heartbreak. Will you let your pain destroy you or transform you? Remember this: every disappointment in love prepares the heart for a greater capacity to love again. Each chapter strengthens you. Each loss deepens you. Each memory equips you for greater creation. Could it be that your struggles are shaping the genius within? There is no tragedy in loving and losing. The tragedy lies in never loving at all. For the man who has never known love has never truly lived, nor has he discovered his creative soul. Have you truly lived? Romance, love, and sex are the foundation of the highest states of genius. They create poets, they create leaders, they create inventors. And without them, civilization stagnates. Do you see how vital these forces are to progress itself? So I ask you now, will you begin to honor the memories of love, to cultivate romance in your heart, to guard the sacred force of sex as a builder, not a destroyer? Will you commit to transmuting this energy into greatness? Civilization itself is built upon the power of sex transmutation, romance, and love. Remove these forces and progress stops. But guided rightly, they create empires, inventions, and timeless masterpieces. Can you see how vital these emotions are to human destiny? Consider the greatest discoveries in science. Behind each, there was not just intellect, but emotional fuel. Do you think Newton would have endured his long studies without the fire of inner passion? Or that Edison would have persisted through 10,000 failures? Without inspiration greater than mere profit, men boast of their independence. Yet none are truly independent of woman's influence. The very fabric of civilization rests on this partnership. Do you see how foolish it is to deny or belittle this truth? Sex alone creates life, but sex with romance creates joy, and sex with love, blended with romance, creates genius. Which of these states are you cultivating? The memories of love are not mere nostalgia. They are living energies. They come unbidden, often at night, often when the mind is still, bringing with them flashes of imagination. Have you ever been struck by an idea that seemed to descend from the memory of a past romance? The poets, the artists, the musicians, they all confess to the same experience. Inspiration strikes when the heart recalls love. Why should you be different? Is it not possible that your greatest idea is waiting within your own heart? The greatest gift of love is that it refines and softens ambition. A man without love may become powerful, but he is often harsh, cold, destructive. With love, ambition is balanced. It serves humanity as well as self. Which would you prefer to be remembered for? Do not despise the pain of lost love. Out of that pain comes depth, compassion, and creativity. Some of the world's greatest masterpieces were born of heartbreak. Will you let your pain destroy you or transform you? Remember this: every disappointment in love prepares the heart for a greater capacity to love again. Each chapter strengthens you. Each loss deepens you. Each memory equips you for greater creation. Could it be that your struggles are shaping the genius within? There is no tragedy in loving and losing. The tragedy lies in never loving at all. For the man who has never known love has never truly lived, nor has he discovered his creative soul. Have you truly lived? Romance, love, and sex are the foundation of the highest states of genius. They create poets, they create leaders, they create inventors. And without them, civilization stagnates. Do you see how vital these forces are to progress itself? So I ask you now, will you begin to honor the memories of love, to cultivate romance in your heart, to guard the sacred force of sex as a builder, not a destroyer? Will you commit to transmuting this energy into greatness? Civilization itself is built upon the power of sex transmutation, romance, and love. Remove these forces and progress stops. But guided rightly, they create empires, inventions, and timeless masterpieces. Can you see how vital these emotions are to human destiny? Consider the greatest discoveries in science. Behind each, there was not just intellect, but emotional fuel. Do you think Newton would have endured his long studies without the fire of inner passion? Or that Edison would have persisted through 10,000 failures? Without inspiration greater than mere profit, every great achievement requires persistence, and persistence is born of emotion, not reason. Ask yourself, what emotion drives you to keep going when reason says stop? Love makes a man daring. Romance makes him imaginative. Sex gives him the energy to act. When blended, these forces transform ordinary men into giants. Could they do the same for you? Think of great artists. Michelangelo painting the Sistine Chapel, Shakespeare writing his immortal plays, Beethoven composing symphonies that shook the world. What force stirred their souls? Have you noticed that art always carries the fragrance of love and passion? But here is the difference. The wise transmute these forces into creation, while the foolish waste them in indulgence. Which path are you walking? A man without romance is a machine. He may calculate, he may labor, but he will not create. Creation requires fire, and fire is born from passion directed by love. Do you feel that fire within yourself? Even in business, the story repeats. The world's greatest fortunes were not built by cold logic alone, but by men on fire with imagination, driven by desire, often sparked by the influence of a woman. Could your greatest business idea be waiting within your emotions? Think of Andrew Carnegie. Behind his empire stood the encouragement of his mother and the support of trusted companions. Without that emotional base, could he have risen from poverty to become the Steel King? No man creates in isolation. He creates through inspiration, and inspiration comes through emotional forces. Do you recognize the sources of your own inspiration? The blending of sex, love, and romance is like electricity. Alone, each wire is harmless, but connected, they create power that lights the world. Are your wires connected, or are they lying scattered and unused? History shows us men who misused this force. Many rose quickly, only to fall into ruin because they wasted their energy in reckless passion. Does it not warn you that mastery, not indulgence, is the secret of lasting success? Great generals, poets, inventors, all were driven by desire. But desire without discipline is destruction. Will you discipline your desire or let it discipline you? Every genius carries within him a story of love. Sometimes it is fulfilled, sometimes lost, but always present. The memory of a woman has built palaces, written books, composed music. What memory could you transform into greatness? You may not think of yourself as an artist or inventor, but in truth, every man and woman is a creator. You create your destiny daily. What emotions are you using as your raw material? Do you notice how a man in love walks taller, speaks with confidence, works with energy? That is not illusion. That is the visible power of transmuted emotion. Could you harness that power consciously instead of by chance? The secret is not suppression, but redirection. To suppress sex is to weaken oneself. To indulge it recklessly is to destroy oneself. To transmute it into creative effort is to rise above oneself. Which choice will you make? Love alone can refine passion into beauty. Romance alone can lift it into imagination. Sex alone can energize it into action. But only when all three combine does genius appear. Have you felt this combination in your life? Think of the leaders who shook nations. They were not cold men of logic. They were men of fire, men of passion, men inspired by emotions larger than themselves. Do you wish to move others? Then first, you must be moved yourself. But beware of counterfeit emotions. Lust without love is a storm that leaves ruin. Jealousy disguised as passion breeds madness. Guard your emotions as you would guard treasure. Are you guarding or are you squandering? Every failure in life can be traced back to misdirected emotion. Every success can be traced to emotion properly transmuted. Look at your past. Do you see the truth of this statement? A great lover, a great leader, a great creator, they are not so different. Each channels the same fire in a different direction. Which direction are you choosing? Let us be clear. Sex energy is not evil. It is nature's greatest gift. But like fire, it must be controlled. Fire warms the home, but left unchecked, it burns it to ashes. How are you tending your fire? Without romance, the home grows cold. Without love, marriage becomes a prison. Without sex, life itself would not continue. But with all three harmonized, life becomes abundant, creative, and divine. Are you seeking harmony or chaos? Think of the woman's role once more. She is not merely companion. She is muse, inspirer, stabilizer. History has overlooked her influence, but without her, man remains incomplete. Who has been your muse? Even memories of love lost can become eternal guides. Many men, after losing love, dedicated themselves to creation, building monuments in art, business, or science. Could your pain be the seed of your greatest work? The world does not remember men for their indulgence, but for their creation. None are praised for excess, but for what they built with their energy. When your story is told, will it be of waste or creation? Look around. Every building, every invention, every work of art is evidence of transmuted emotion. Men and women turn their passions into something lasting. Will you do the same with yours? This truth is universal. It applies to the poet as well as the banker, the farmer as well as the president. You may think yourself ordinary, but within you lies extraordinary power. Will you awaken it? Let me warn you, this power will not remain neutral. If you do not direct it, it will direct you. It will either build or destroy depending on your mastery. Are you the master or the servant? The world is in need of creators, not destroyers. It is in need of men and women who can transmute passion into service, imagination into progress, love into leadership. Could you be one of them? Remember this always. Genius is not born. It is developed. It is developed through the conscious mastery of emotion, especially the greatest emotion of all, sex transmuted through love and romance. Are you ready to begin that mastery today?